So Fundrise is a real estate investment company. It's an online investment company. So what it does is it allows small time retail investors like myself and yourself to put some money into real estate, which they then develop, rent, and sell for a profit. So what happens is, real estate is really becoming really expensive in the United States, and people cannot afford to buy their own house, and even less they can afford to buy a real estate that they can then fix up, or that they can then rent and make money that way. So what this company does is it takes the money that we as investors put into it. So let's say I put in $10,000, you put in $5,000, and someone else puts $20,000, and what they do is they take all this money, they put it into, let's call it one pile, and then they're using that money, they buy real estate, maybe these big rental complexes that you see just popping out everywhere. And then they either rent them, or and then also they make money through appreciation. So over time, the price of real estate goes up, and at a point where they sell it, and then they distribute all these profits as dividends. So that's all it does. It's a crowdfunding platform. So it takes the money that we all, a little bit of money that each one of us puts into it, and then they put it together, make a purchase, renovate the place, rent the place, and then we get dividends. And Fundrise, you actually get some dividends. You get daily, right? So usually you get like $1 or $2 a day if you have like $20,000 invested into it. And then you also get a big chunk of your money quarterly. So 4 times a year you get this big chunk of money, which is a return on your investment, and then every day you get a little bit as well. So it's actually a pretty good platform. I know there's a lot of skeptics out there saying there's certain catches to it, and sure, right, just like any real estate investment, Fundrise, just like any real estate investment, it's a long-term investment. So if you're looking to get like a 50% return in like 3 days or something like this, these crazy returns, this is not a platform for you. This is the type of platform that low time preference people want, and then they use it because all you do is you put money in there and then you forget about it. You don't touch it. You just leave it there. Okay, you just leave it there and you watch it grow over a 5-year, 10-year period, 15, 20 years, or whenever you finally decide to cash out. So it's a long-term investment, and it's a good long-term investment. Let me tell you, as you could see, I'm going to show you my portfolio. You're going to see why it is such a good investment. Because let me tell you, I spent 0 seconds, minutes, or hours looking at charts, studying what their E-REITs are, and whatnot. I literally just put, every month, I put $500, and then whenever I get this extra money somewhere that I saved up, I put in like a big chunk. And and it's, in this case, it's, as whenever you're picking your own stocks, or whatever you're picking your own companies, stocks, trades, you gotta spend time looking at charts. You gotta spend time looking at prices. You gotta try to time it. Fundrise, you don't time it at any point. You put some money in, you're gonna be sure you're gonna get some sort of dividend in upcoming months and years.
Investors from all over the world are pooling money to invest in real estate. Integra Platform is an online crowdfunding real estate investing platform for everyone.
Click on Withdraw button to send a withdrawal request. Your income will be transferred to your wallets.
Start investing today with Integra Platform and buy your dream property.
So let me go over the story here. So you see historical value here. So let me tell you, over here it says 2019, but I literally, my first $1,000 deposited was on December 30th, 2019. So it's actually one day before 2020 started. So we're just going to assume here that I started investing in 2020. Now, like, guys, remember that 2020 was a tough year. There was and there still is a COVID pandemic happening. So, right when I started investing in this platform, They actually had to halt any dividends and payouts because everything came to the halt. Now, let me reiterate that I did not lose any money. If you were in the stock market during the like February, March, April, May of 2020, you probably lost 20, 30, 40, and in some cases 50, 60% of your portfolio. In Fundrise, it did not go up, but it also did not go down, which is a super cool thing because it is recession resistant, which is good to hear, because I was really worried. I was wondering. I know I only had maybe like $2,000 to $2,500 invested, but I wanted to see what would happen, and that was a good test, I mean, I only have a very small amount of money invested. I want to see how it's going to react to a recession. Now, Fundrise reacted beautifully. The one thing that some people are critiquing is that they actually halted all withdrawals of any money, I believe starting like March 14th, 2020, because of the recession. And some people say, hey, I want my money. Why don't you give me my money? But the problem is the real estate is an illiquid investment. So you got to think of it as you literally owning a place somewhere and renting it, right? You cannot just, let's say there was a stock market crash or another pandemic, you cannot just go there and sell it in one day. So you cannot expect this from a Fundrise. From this Fundrise company as well, because it is real estate. They cannot just go out and sell a 1,000 unit rental complex in a day and give you the money. So what they did is actually they halted all withdrawals, but it was only for 60 days. So I couldn't withdraw my money. I didn't try, but they sent a nice letter explaining everything, is that they're holding all withdrawals in order not to sell at a loss. What happens to a lot of people is that in the stock market is that whenever things start selling off, they get nervous and they get scared of losing money. So they sell when the stock market is low and they lose money. As you can see with the pandemic that happened in 2020, if you were just to hold through that initial one to 2 month dip in any stocks in the stock market, you'd still be making money right now. So Fundrise technically forced it upon their investors not to sell at a loss. Not to sell at a loss and just hold through the tough times, because the rewards would to come. And I understand there's some people that were caught in these circumstances where they really needed the money. Maybe they had some money, they lost their job or something, and they needed the money in the Fundrise. That they invested in Fundrise. However, I always say, only invest the money that you could afford to lose. Only invest the money that you can afford to lose. Only invest the money that you can afford to lose, so things like this don't happen. So, me personally, really like what Fundrise did. They did not let people sell at a loss. If they were forced to sell at a loss, there would be no company. And as you could see, once they were so there was only 60 days. Like most other stocks, it took them much longer than 60 days to recover. Fundrise and their real estate investments, 60 days later, I started getting the daily dividends again. And in the end of the year, I think even with the recession and with everything, I made a decent 6% return on my money. All right, guys. So that's enough about the Fundrise and how it works and what it does. Let's talk about my portfolio, right? So I'm just gonna say that I started in the beginning of 2020. So we had the whole 2020 and we had 8 months of 2021 to check out what type of returns they do offer. Now, when I did invest in this company, I knew it was gonna be between like 7% and 12%. Things like this don't go like 100 and 1,000%, like Tesla and stuff like that. This is something that I put in. I forget about it, I don't worry. That's the type of trader and an investor I am. I'm not a day trader because it's just too time consuming. I'm a swing trader. I set up, if you guys want to see my Southwest Airlines trade that I'm currently in, just check out my investment playlist on YouTube, and you can check out that. That's an amazing trade with a possible, I think, 30.24% return on your investments in like 3 months. So, let's get back to Fundrise here. I started in 2020. I'm investing about $500 a month. And when I get a good chunk, like over here in September 10th, right? September 10th, I invested, boop, I invested another 5,000. You can see this little pop here. You see September 16th to 17th, the change is $5,000. So I had some extra change, extra money laying around, and so I invested it. Then again, it was 500, 500, 500, 500 a month, blah, 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 blah. And until recently, on about May 10th, 2021, I put in a decent 40? No, I put